Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another video. It's your girl Nadine if you are new here, and I'm a registered midwife here working in the UK. So in today's video, as you guys can tell by the title, I'll be discussing all things safeguarding midwife. So I recently received a comment from one of my subscribers who wanted to know more about the safeguarding midwife, what they do, what they are, and all the necessary details about safeguarding midwifery. So that got me thinking, maybe I should start a new segment here on my channel where I discuss different specialist roles within midwifery and basically give you guys all the necessary details about their role, responsibilities, their pay, and how you become a specialist midwife here in the UK. So if you guys like the sound of that and you're intrigued to find out more, then please hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. And let's get started with today's video. Let's talk about what it means to be a safeguarding midwife. So in the UK, each hospital within maternity will have a safeguarding team of specialist midwives who safeguard the women and their family under their care. So before we dive into the safeguarding midwife, let's discuss the first part, which is safeguarding. What does it mean to safeguard? What is safeguarding in general? So safeguarding adults, children, and babies is an integral part of patient care. Safeguarding means protecting people from harm, including physical, emotional, sexual, and financial harm and neglect. Midwives have a duty to recognize the signs and symptoms of abuse and to act on any concerns. So let's start with a brief description of what it means to be a safeguarding midwife. Safeguarding is everyone's responsibility, and all staff in accordance with the NMC and their appropriate governing body have a duty of care to support, assess, signpost, and escalate as appropriate. Maternity services are universally available in the UK, but it's recognized that some pregnant people with additional vulnerabilities often do not access services timely and appropriately. Safeguarding midwives' role is to protect patients from harm, including physical, emotional, sexual, and financial harm and neglect. Midwives and allied health professionals play an essential part in ensuring that children and families receive the care, support, and services they need to promote child's health and development and health and welfare of women under their care. Maternity staff are likely to have significant contact with families who may require support and intervention in relation to safeguarding children and babies who are likely to be vulnerable to abuse. Midwives have a statutory responsibility to recognize, prevent, and manage signs of patient harm, abuse, neglect, including a poor practice. The specialist team provide individualized enhanced maternity care for vulnerable pregnant people linked into universal services such as GPs, health visitors, and children's centers, and specialist services as required. So let's talk about the roles and responsibilities of the safeguarding midwife. So the responsibilities of a safeguarding midwife is to support vulnerable women and babies, providing expert care to women and babies who are vulnerable due to safeguarding or domestic abuse issues, including drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and learning disabilities. Also, the safeguarding specialist midwife will also offer training and supervision to other maternity staff. So for example, myself as a band 6 midwife who works on the ward, I do antenatal and postnatal. Safeguarding midwives will come and train us and supervise us on how we care for women who are vulnerable under the safeguarding team. So they offer that training and support to midwives such as myself and doctors and nurses who work within maternity, so that we can also support those women who are under the safeguarding team. So safeguarding midwives also liaise with multi-agency partners, ensuring that a robust care plans are in place for vulnerable babies. So safeguarding midwives need to ensure that there is an appropriate pre-birth assessment and planning in place in order to safeguard children and vulnerable people with effective communication of recommendations of aftercare arrangements for the newborn baby and family support. They also provide clear direction to all staff members in matters relating to safeguarding. So in summary, the role of the specialist midwife is to make pre-birth assessment for vulnerable women under their care and their families. So they basically make a clear care plan for the women that are under their care that have been flagged up to be part of the vulnerable team and that may need extra support as they use the maternity services. Specialist midwife also train other staff members such as doctors, myself, and other nurses within the maternity to make sure that they have the appropriate training to care for the women that are under the safeguarding team and make sure that nothing is missed and that they have a smooth care when they access maternity care. Okay, so now that I have discussed and given you guys all the terminology about what it is to be a safeguarding midwife, let me summarize and break it down for you guys and give you guys a typical example on how a safeguarding midwife will come into play when a woman comes to maternity and basically says she's pregnant and she wants to be booked at, for example, my hospital. So when a woman comes in the booking process, I will sit with her and I will discuss everything in terms of her life, how she is, what she eats, what she doesn't do. I will discuss everything, including her emotional state, how life is at home. If something is flagged up within the booking process, for example, this woman tells me she has an alcohol dependency, she drinks alcohol all the time, or she does drugs, or she's experiencing domestic violence, or she, you know, is being abused, financially abused, sexually abused. If anything flags up while I am booking this woman, I will then ask her if I can refer her to the safeguarding team. So now these women have a choice to decline to be part of the safeguarding team. So I will ask her and get that consent for me to refer her to the team. So once she has consented to be part of the safeguarding team, I will then send her details over to the safeguarding midwife, who are more equipped in caring for these women who are more vulnerable, who access our services. So they will then be looked after by the specialist midwife. So every single appointment that this woman has moving forward during her pregnancy, she will be seen by a specialist midwife throughout her pregnancy up until the point she gives birth and 28 days after she has her baby. That's basically what the process is like for when we as midwives contact the safeguarding midwife and refer women to their team if anything has been flagged up. So that is how the safeguarding midwife will then come into play and support these women. So let's talk about who receives care from the specialist midwives. So specialist midwives provide care for women, couples who need more support than others due to a range of health and social issues. So these issues may be related to drug and alcohol misuse, mental health and learning disabilities, previous difficulties bringing up children, being in care as a child or young person, being a victim of harm or abuse, being homeless, or any other factors impacting on the well-being of the unborn baby. So those are the people that will typically go under the safeguarding team and be looked after the safeguarding midwives while they use the maternity services. So some things I've seen a safeguarding midwife do when I was working alongside them. So if a woman has a social worker prior to getting pregnant because maybe they had other things going on within their life, so therefore they have a social worker, what the safeguarding midwife will then do is liaise with the social worker to ensure that everything is in place for the mum, the family, and the unborn baby, making sure that things are in place for them to have a good life after having a baby. Another example that I've seen is some women will come and use our services and they don't have the means to care for their baby. For example, they are homeless, they don't have a home, and they need our support or the safeguarding midwife support to ensure that the baby and the mum are looked after once they leave our services and go out into the world. So one thing that I've seen a safeguarding midwife do is provide housing or make sure that this woman has somewhere to go after they've had their baby, or they will also provide things like, you know, birth equipment, a cot, a car seat, nappies, toiletries, things like that. If a woman comes to our services and they don't have the means to care for themselves and their baby, then the safeguarding midwife will go and find these things or equipment for the mum to use in order for her to care for herself and her newborn baby. Then the safeguarding midwife will work with the police or social services to ensure that this mum and her unborn baby are protected once they leave our our services and go out and care for their newborn baby. So that is an example of what a safeguarding midwife will do and how they would care and support us as midwife and also the women under their care and their families and the unborn baby. So let's talk about what you'll need in terms of your education, qualification and training to become a safeguarding midwife. What are the employers looking for when you are applying to become a safeguarding midwife? So the first and essential thing that you will need in order for you to become a safeguarding midwife is you need to be a registered qualified midwife. So you need to be a band 6 midwife before you can apply and become a safeguarding midwife. So that is essential, and without that you cannot become a safeguarding midwife. So another qualification or training that you will need in order to become a safeguarding midwife that is sometimes essential, but some hospitals will give you the position without having this, is experience in working in safeguarding areas or being a safeguarding midwife previously, or just exposure or an experience being a safeguarding person or being part of a safeguarding team. If you have that experience, that knowledge or that background, then you will have a better chance of becoming a safeguarding midwife. But like I said, some hospitals may recruit safeguarding midwives if they don't have experience. You kind of learn on the job. So another essential or desirable aspect that you will need in order for you to become a safeguarding midwife is experience working within a multidisciplinary team. So if you are a band 6 midwife already, this is something that you will already have. It will be like a tick already, because we already work with the multidisciplinary team. We work with doctors, we work with nurses, we work with physiotherapists, we work with a lot of people already. So this is something that you will have naturally when you are applying to become a safeguarding midwife. So another thing that employers may need is if you have experience working with women who have complex needs, and you have that kind of background or that kind of experience of working with women who have complex needs or safeguarding needs, and you have that experience or exposure in working and caring for these women. If you have that, then you will be able to apply and also become a safeguarding midwife, but it all depends on where you apply. So let's move on to the skills and abilities that you need in order for you to apply to become a safeguarding midwife. So the first skill and the most important skill that you will need is the skill to be able to communicate effectively. So you'll be communicating with not only the women that are under your care and their families, but you will also need to communicate with a wider team, which is the multidisciplinary team. You will need communication skills to communicate with the doctors, communicate with the police, to communicate with social services, to communicate with the health visitors, to communicate with, you know, maybe students, maybe managers, matrons. You need to be able to have that effective communication, because you will need to communicate with a wide range of people in order for you to care for these women. You need to be able to communicate effectively. So that is a skill that is absolutely needed in order for you to become a safeguarding midwife. So there are loads of skills and abilities when they are looking for safeguarding midwives. So I'm just going to put on the screen here a list of skills and abilities that they are looking for when you are applying to become a safeguarding midwife. This is just an example from a post that I saw on NHS Jobs, and this is basically a list of things that are essential and desirable when applying to become a safeguarding midwife. So just take a minute, take a screenshot, pause this video and just have a read of all the things that they are looking for when you are applying to become a safeguarding midwife. So let's talk about the pay of the safeguarding midwife. So I just did a quick search on NHS Jobs so that I give you guys the current pay for what's coming out at the moment and what they are offering for safeguarding midwives at the moment. For a job at Hertfordshire Teaching Hospital, the salary is 55k to 62 a year for the safeguarding midwife at a band 8. And for another hospital in North Cumbria, am I saying that right? Cumbria, the starting salary is 46 to 52k a year. So another post that is out is at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and the starting salary is 46 to 52k a year, and that is at a band 7. So with with the safeguarding midwife, you either become a band 7, which is majority of the hospitals, but some hospitals will give a safeguarding midwife at a band 8, which is more money. So it all depends on where you apply. If you are within London, the salary is higher compared to if you are outside of London. So that is another factor to think about. And the last and final job advert that I've seen on the internet with a starting salary of 51 to 57k a year at a band 7 as a safeguarding midwife is Imperial College Healthcare NHS Trust, and they are offering 51 to 57k a year. So that is another big amount. So those are some of the examples of how much they are paying safeguarding midwives here in the UK. I will put an average here on the screen so you guys can see the average of how much a safeguarding midwife can earn here in the UK, and I'll also leave the links of the jobs that I've seen and discussed in today's video in the description box below if you guys are interested to just kind of have a look and see what is out there. But please do keep in mind, by the time you watch this video, if you watch this video a month or a year from now, the positions may be closed and there'll be other things out there, so just keep an eye out. The best place to go and look for jobs is NHS Jobs website. That is the best place to go and see what is out there and if there is any safeguarding positions available. But I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. I hope you guys have had some insight on what a safeguarding midwife is. If you guys have any further questions on safeguarding midwives, or if you guys have any other specialists that you want me to discuss in the next video, please do leave me a comment and I will have a read and reply and make a video for the next specialist that you guys are keen and intrigued to learn about. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you guys have taken something from this video. If you guys have anything else that you guys would want to know, like I said, leave me a comment. But I'll see you guys in my next video, which will hopefully be very, very soon. But don't forget guys, like, comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in my next video.